Namaste. Welcome to class. Hopefully you had a good night's sleep. We were waiting for a hurricane yesterday, which dissipated, thank goodness. And now we just have dark skies. So the lighting is a little dark today. Good. Okay, finding your comfortable seat, getting yourself nice and comfortable. Great. So today's class, I think our focus will be balance. I've been feeling that for the last couple of days, just with the clouds coming in and the sun coming in and dark and light and pressure and no pressure and lightness and heaviness and all of the different pairs of opposites. So let's think today about bringing balance into the body, into the mind, into the breath, into all parts of ourselves. So with our nice comfortable seat, feeling the spine erect and the body heavy. So the body heavy, reaching down, and the spine light and soft and shooting up like a tiny shoot out of the ground. Taking a soft gaze or letting your eyes close gently. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Babaji. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of Yoga and Ayurveda. And with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So always that question, what do I need for personal self-transformation? You're the only one who can transform yourself. Once you have that thought, planting it down in your heart space, and then joining me, if you will, for an Om. Exhaling the breath out with a nice big inhale to chant. Letting your eyes flutter open as you inhale. And then just bringing the arms out to the side. Let them float up for a moment and then float down. Maybe flip the palms facing up, floating the arms up, and then flip the palms to face out and down. A couple more times, just opening up the shoulders. This time when we get up, let's stay up for a moment. So keep the arms away from each other for just a moment and notice where there's any tightness in the shoulders. Then go ahead to your left hand and flip the arm out. Flip the palm out, and then reach the arm in a little bit more. Hold on to the wrist with the right fingers, and then stretch yourself over to the right side. Pulling the rib cage away from the pelvic basket. Pelvic basket is very heavy, upper part of the body lighter, reaching away. And then come back up into neutral. And then again, both palms facing each other. And now the right palm, face it away. Lean the arm in. Grab the right wrist, draw it over to the left. Lengthening all the way through the rib cage, as if you could separate each rib, that little piece of meat right in between each rib. Good, and then come up. Let the arms again lift up, palms facing one another. Be very conscious of our palms now. So if we're flipping both palms out for a moment, so creating both palms, and see if you can get it to happen from the shoulder girdle. And then reach the arms as far back as they'll go. Back, 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 arms all the way back behind. Interlace the fingers, squeeze the knuckles to the floor. And while you have that interlace, just undo it a little bit, soften it, grab the other interlace and squeeze again. Good. And then release the arms all the way around to give yourself a hug. Good. Notice which arm went on top. Release them and do the other arm. Good. And then release both arms and let your hands just be heavy on your thighs for a moment. Good. Pull in the belly, lift the pelvic floor. And then lean your shoulder and your body, your whole trunk out to the left. Take it to the front. Whole trunk is a unit. And back. Palms are facing down. Let them just move along your legs as the whole trunk moves together as a unit. Just rocking over the femurs. So this is really a hip opener. When you get to the left, pause, come back to the right. Notice the pressure in the hands, how it lightens as you lean back, heavier as you move forward. Just notice those opposites in the body. Good. And this time, when you get all the way to the very back body, lean back for a second. Just notice how your body's leaning back. And then bring your chest forward. And then stack your head on top of the spine. Good. Let's go into all fours for a moment. So finding your wrist right underneath your shoulders and making sure that you have your hands in front. So very crucial alignment cue. And also that our knees are right underneath our hip joints. Tops of the feet into the floor to begin, okay? Gazing at the floor, pull in your belly. Pelvic floor is lifted, so just noticing that. So find your neutral. Make sure you have some of your low back curve, so soften your hips for just a moment as you still keep the belly in, but just notice the femur, the relationship between the leg and the hip socket. Good. And then we're going to exhale, curl the body, press the floor with hands and legs, and then inhale back to neutral. Other direction. Arch and neutral. So really press into the floor with both arches and release your pressure to your neutral. Both arches pressing into the floor. And neutral. One more set. Good. And then for just a moment, let's shift our weight over to the left side. So just shift your weight to the left side for a moment. Feel that balance there. Extend your right leg back behind you. Just feel the right leg extending back. I'm going to bend out of the way so you can see it's not facing any way except back. So I'm not hiking it up or anything. It's staying even with the body into that Tadasana. I'm looking at the floor. Good. So find that space, balancing on 3 legs. Good. And then slowly bend the right knee, take the heel toward the hip, point the toe, and open the right leg. Keep pressing into the floor. Only open it as much as is comfortable and keep your balance. Pull in the belly, pelvic floor is lifted, press into the hands. Flex the foot, and then open the leg out to the side. As much as is comfortable, just open it out to the side. Press into the floor with the hands. You may be just barely hovering off the floor, maybe up, wherever it is, just keeping the balance. And then bend the knee and replace it. Good. So find your spot, find your balance. I'll do this one from the side, just in case. Great. Okay, now getting ready with our left. Shift the weight over to the right side. So consciously shift it to 3 legs, your 2 hands and your right leg, and then extend back through the left leg. Keep it even, an even plane to the body. Now you can ask yourself if you have more traction on your right leg with your foot curled under or laid out. So just plant yourself wherever you have the most traction. Good. Great, so just press through the heel, very active left leg. Finding that balance of Tadasana over 3 legs. Belly is in. Pelvic floor is lifted. Good. And then we're going to bend the knee and take the heel, point the toe close to the hip, as close as it goes on its own. No pressing, no doing, don't reach back. Keep lifting the belly. And then let's flex the foot and begin to straighten the leg out to the left side. Wherever it goes is perfect. It may hover close to the floor. It may be lifted wherever it goes. Press equally into the hands and the leg. And then bend the knee, bring the leg back, pull in the belly, and take a cat arch. Stay and breathe in that arch for a moment. Finding your breath, bringing it into the back body with compression on the front body. Belly is in, back ribs expanding with each breath. Bring the breath into the kidney area. First the right side. Next the left side. And then on your next inhale, soften into neutral. Stay there for a breath or two. Find your low back curve, press into the floor. And then moving into the opposite arch for a few breaths. Curl the tailbone toward the back of the head toward the tailbone. You may want to curl your feet under, whichever gives you the most traction in your legs. Breathe. Notice how the back body is now compressed. Bring that breath into the ribs, right underneath your chest. Feel the ribs expand toward the floor. And on your next inhale, come back and find your neutral. Relax your spine. Good. And then just reach back through your left foot, through your right foot. Push into plank for just a moment, balancing. Chaturanga. This is a chatur, four-limbed pose. So press in, drop to your knees, and sit up on your knees. Good. So into kneeling. Great. Okay. So now we're going to open the legs out to the side in case you need to reorient yourself on your mat. Okay. Good. And if you have a block, you may want to grab one and have it close to you. We'll start over on the left side, so you can just place it over there somewhere in case you'd like it. Okay. So again, thinking about balance. So thinking about your right side, thinking about your left side, thinking about your superior body, belly button up, the inferior body, belly button down, the front side, the back side, all of these different forms of our body in all of its dimensions, and bringing balance. Lift the pelvic floor, pull in the belly. We're going to start with our external rotation on our right leg today. We're going to bring it out, firmly plant it. Good. So just finding that rotation for a moment. And then I want you to bend away from it. Just bend away. This side today, you might find a little bit shorter for a moment. So just bend. Let that left arm just be a pendulum. So don't collapse into it. Just bend into it. Let it bend gently. Take a nice inhale, and on your next exhale, come up. Good. So just hopefully feeling a little bit of that extension in the QL and in the serratus, anterior, posterior, probably even in the traps. Good. So just noticing that rotation. And now we're going to take out the rotation on the right leg and extend it into abduction. So just pulling it away. Toes are facing. So the toes are facing the front, as is the knee facing the front. Everything's facing the front. And again, lean, this time until you get a nice line of energy. So it's long on the bottom side. This is where you might want your block that you place there. So you can place your hand into the block. Good. So get that space. And then let's go ahead for a moment and sweep up the right arm, up to the ceiling, reach up to the ceiling, just noticing the shape that you're making. Flip your palm to the left side and then tuck the arm in close to the head. Don't collapse it in. Keep it strong. Keep space between your arm and your ear. Good. And then for just a moment, you're going to walk your block out and lift the leg a tiny bit. So we're going to keep the line. So we're not lifting the leg high and losing our line. We're keeping our Tadasana right over that standing leg. So just balancing. Good. And then bend your left elbow a little so you can push off. Come back into standing up with the body, leg and abduction. And then release it. Good. Right side. Move your block over to the right side. And it may be completely different on the right side. So we're going to start with our external rotation on the right leg. Make sure you can't see your heel. You've got your whole foot hidden under your left thigh. Maybe a little bit of your big toe knuckle on the inside of your leg, but it's very safe there. Okay. Notice that rotation, just feeling it. And then drop yourself in, just leaning. So this time, yes, it can squish in a little bit in that right side. Arm is just hanging. Don't lose your head though. Keep your head with control. Pelvic floor is lifted, belly is in. Good, and on your next exhale, come up. Great, and now we're gonna abduct the left leg. So toes facing front, knee facing front, everything else facing front. Great. Upright initially. And then we're gonna lean until we get that, this time, that long line of energy. You can place your hand on your leg and thigh and just support yourself there, but you can also grab your block. It may be different on one side, the height of the block you've decided. So find your long line, wherever it may be. Press into the floor or the block or whatever, or your leg, wherever you found that stability. And then letting your left arm rise up, flip the palm to face the front, press into the arm on the floor or block or wherever. Good. And then flip the palm toward the right side, draw in the arm. Again, space between your arm and your ear. Keep your head extending out of the spine. Breathe. Lift the pelvic floor, lift the belly. And then here, as I do this little movement into a version of Ardha Chandrasana into half moon, I'm going to have to change the orientation of my block as I lift up. So still keeping the space, that length. Good. Excellent. Flex the foot. Flex the foot. Left foot is very flexed so that you keep that power. And then you're going to bend the right elbow a little bit more to exhale and come up. Relax to neutral. And then bring in the leg. Good. Perfect. So one more balance, our toe balance, right? It's called toe balance. It's really ball of the foot balance. All right, so I'm nice and tall and long, taking my hips back toward my heels and then my knees off the ground. So hold on to anything you'd like. This is our toe balance. And if you want to really challenge yourself today in the balance, and I like to do this with blocks only for myself, to take the toe balance, you can do it on one leg by reaching out your opposite leg and then drawing it in and finding a one-legged toe balance. So you can play here or just both legs at once. But if you are going to cross the leg, take it out, lengthen the leg, draw it in, bend it, flex the foot. So it's like a figure four, but on a balanced foot. Good. Or just on both. Thinking about front, back, side, side, top, bottom. All of the body in perfect balance. Imagine your belly button is the center of your body and everything else radiating out from that point. Good, and we're gonna see if we can come all the way up. Stay on the ball of the foot, coming up. Good, and then lower into the feet. Find your Tadasana, be still for a moment, really still. Let your eyes either take a soft gaze or close. Breathe, notice the body, notice the pelvic floor. Soften it for a moment and then re-engage it. Soften the belly for a moment, re-engage it. Soften the shoulders, keep them soft. And then on your next inhale, opening the eyes. So many of you love this pose, hopefully, our dancing Shiva. So we're gonna do that because it creates a lot of heat in the body. It's a very intense pose, although both feet are on the floor for balance, but it really helps to create the postural muscles holding you very gently, okay? So let's get soft, nice and soft. Bend your knees as if you were gonna do some Tai Chi, Qigong, just nice and soft for a moment. Good, and then peel up the left foot, left heel, peel up the left heel. You're gonna cross the heel over, cross the leg over and plant it, so it's kickstand. Now, put some corn cob stakes in your hips so that they're staying engaged really safely. And then lift the pelvic floor and slowly just lower into your seat a little bit, okay? As we curve our whole body over to the right side, we're gonna push away to the left side. So go ahead and sweep up your left arm and curve your body into a C curve over to the right side. And then taking your right hand, push away, chest height, push. Good. Now, hopefully you have your figure, your form. Bring your index finger into the tip of the thumb, tip of the index finger touching the tip of the thumb, Jnani Mudra. And then now you're gonna follow my voice because you're gonna take your vision down to your big toe. Looking down at the big left toe. Flip the palm of the left hand up toward the ceiling. And then gently, making an arch with the face and the head, walk your gaze out to the right side and bring it up to the back of your left hand. Breathe. The breath is in the chest only. Belly and pelvic floor both are needing your engagement. Smooth out your breath. And then on your next inhale, I want you to get as big as you possibly can on that one standing right leg. And then walk it out from there. Just check it out. Then get still, close your eyes and take an assessment of body, breath, mind. Notice the left side compared to the right side. Notice front to back. Inferior to superior. And then on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Good. Same thing on the other side. Nice and soft first. Get really nice and soft. Good. And then peeling up the right heel. You're going to slowly and gently lift the right leg, reach it over and plant it. So the legs are planted, the knee is crossed. Corn cob stake your hips. Make sure that they're nice and solid. Sink in a tiny bit more. Really engaged. Safe, secure hips. Good. And then we're gonna open up and reach up with the right arm as we arch our body over to the left side. Good. And then with our left arm and hand, we're gonna push away across the chest. Unite index finger tip with tip of thumb into Jnani Mudra. Good. And then take your gaze down to your big right toe. Flip the palm of the right hand up to the ceiling. And then slowly, gently, walk your gaze in an arc out the left side, all the way up to the back of your right hand. Keep leaning, keep pressing, breathe. Smooth out the breath. And then your big inhale, on the next big inhale, get big onto your left leg. And then walk it out slowly. Move your shoulders, move your hips, move your knees, move your legs, everything moving. And then finding your Tadasana. Engage legs, pelvic floor, belly, spine, shoulders. Stand tall like a soldier for a moment. And then just like a chocolate soldier, let yourself melt. The bones have you. Relaxing shoulders, jaw, pelvic floor, belly, everything relaxed. A few delicious breaths, even into the belly. Good, and then on an inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Good. So I want you to do one more balance pose. It's your choice, right? You can do anything you might like. You can, but side to side. So you can do a tree pose, any kind of tree, any tree you want to do. You can do Ardha Chandrasana again. You can balance that, but somewhere up, standing up, however you want to do. Just one more balancing pose, standing, for the next couple of minutes on one side. So take your time. I'll just do a little tree, so I'm doing something with you. And then release that side, wherever you've gone. Soften yourself in between, recalibrate body, breath, mind. And then let's do the other side. Whatever you are, wherever you're going. And then releasing that side, recalibrate. Good. And then we're going to come down through a squat, a nice wide-legged squat. So just getting your feet and your knees in the same direction before you lower your body down into your nice squat. Good. So you may be on your toes. You may be on your feet, whatever is most comfortable for you, to allow yourself to lengthen up through the spine for a moment. So just getting yourself as long in the spine as you can. If you have a block handy, just go ahead and grab the block with your right hand and push it back behind you, raise up a little bit and just lift a tiny bit and lower. If you don't have a block, you can reach into the floor. It's just a little bit more challenging and you won't go as far. And lower. And then back into neutral. And then with the left arm, just reach a little bit and lower. And reach a little bit and lower. Good. And then bring your body as close to upright as you can. Relax your hips down toward the floor. Feel this time the difference between your inferior body from your belly button down and your superior body from your belly button up. Good. And then open your upper body only, out to the left side. And then come back into neutral. And then open it to the right side. And come back into neutral. Good. So just balancing. And then slowly just letting yourself find the floor, all the way down to the floor. Good, sitting up nice and tall. So boat pose, are balancing on our sit bones. So that little bit of balance right on your sit bones. Good. Pull in the belly, pull in the pelvic floor, lifting and sitting up, up, up onto your sit bones. So you can start with your shins parallel to the floor and holding on behind your legs, just holding on, opening your shoulders, creating a V between your femurs and your spine. Good. So just being there for a moment. Belly is pulled in, you're leaning back, your head is an extension of your spine. So try not to tuck or do, just trying to keep it nice and long. Good. And then lower the feet and sit up on the top of your sit bones. Just hold on to your shins for a moment. Notice how the weight changes, the balance changes. Pubic bone, tailbone, sit bone, sit bone. And then when you go back to just your sit bones, how the tailbone reacts, how the pubic bone reacts, keeping that balance within the body. Good, and lower the feet again. Come up onto the top of the sit bones. Recalibrate, just rest your hands on your shins. Shoulders moving down. Good. And then one last time, hands firmly behind. They can be parallel. You can reach one at a time up. You can reach them both up. You can let go of your hands. You can do whatever you want to do, making your boat your boat. And then slowly lowering, just bringing the legs in for a moment. Just give them a hug. Sit up tall on top of the sit bones. And then let your legs just pour out for a moment. And then now do your circles in that different orientation. I just have something in my eye. So do your circles. Other direction. Good. Nice and tall. Nice circles. Just notice the difference in the circles at the beginning of class and the circles right now. Great. And then find your tall seat for a moment. Before we go into Shavasana, just take account of the body, noticing left to right, top to bottom, front to back. Rest your tongue in the mouth. And then I want you to think about melting down into the floor, into your Shavasana. So allowing your whole body to just soften and release. Letting everything go into your Shavasana. The body is soft. The floor is receiving. Notice gravity drawing you down. And then notice that your pranic body, your energy body, isn't drawn down. It floats gently at the body, unrestricted by gravity. Any tightness in the body, send the breath there, send the pran there. Not feeling separate, you are one, but noticing the heaviness of the body and the lightness of your energy. With your eyes closed, being mindful of any visions that pass through your sight with your eyes closed. Be aware of any smells that are in your vicinity. Thinking about the taste in your mouth. The sounds in your space, outside and including my voice. The touch of your clothes, of your body on the floor. All of our information coming in through these sensory perceptions. Sinking in, sinking in. Again, bringing your awareness into the senses, sound, touch, sight, taste, smell. Beginning to wiggle your ears, your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your fingers, your toes, everything that brings you in those sensory perceptions. And then deciding if you want a big overhead stretch or if you'd like to shrink in or however you want to make your way over to one side in embryo pose, all curled up, safe and secure. Just sinking into embryo for a moment, just enjoying that little respite between death and rebirth. And then taking the hand of the upper arm, put it on the floor in front of your face, and then push out and let the head be the very last thing that just flops on top of your spine. Finding your comfortable seat. So preparing yourself now, knowing that at the end we're going into meditation. So if you'd like an extra little blanket over your legs or anything around your body, we're going to do a little balancing pranayama practice, and then we're going to move into our meditation. So just get everything now so that you're not moving after your pranayama. Get yourself all situated. It's chilly here, so I'm wrapping up. Good. So once you have your seat, and you can even sit in a chair for this portion, whatever lets you not think about your body aches or pains, that lets you maintain this space for the next 15 minutes, okay? So nice and solid. Great. So this morning we're going to do balancing breaths. So we're going to do surya bhedana and then chandra bhedana. We're going to do the circle breath for the surya side, for the solar side, and then the circle breath for the lunar side. And then we're going to pause, and then we're going to do nadi shodhana, which is both. Nadi means energy, the energy meridians, the chi energy in the body, and shodhana means cleansing. So the nadi shodhana is cleansing and balancing to both sides, chandra and bhedana, okay? So we're going to do both of those things. The chandra bhedana, the surya bhedana is a chest breath. Using just the chest, the belly stays relatively engaged the whole time and the ribs are expanding out to the side, front to back. And then in our yogic breath is for the nadi shodhana. So belly expands and then you draw that same inhale into the chest. But whatever breath you manage to do today will be perfectly fine. Do not judge yourself over your ability to switch between chest breath and belly breath. So nice tall spine. Notice your sit bones on the floor. Let your legs and bottom and feet relax. Taking our right hand and placing it in Vishnu Mudra, which means tucking in the index finger and the middle finger, or if it's more comfortable, just place those fingers at the third eye. What we want to have is our thumb free for the right nostril and our ring finger free for the left nostril. So now I am not mirroring, okay? So thumb free for the right nostril and ring finger free for the left nostril. So this time we're going to start with chandra bhedana. We're closing off the right, inhaling left, switching and exhaling right. Inhaling left, exhaling right. We switch fingers every single time. Left, inhaling left, exhaling right. Inhaling left, exhaling right. Okay? Let's begin together. Exhaling the breath all the way out. Close off the right, inhaling left. Switch fingers, exhaling right. Find your own pattern. Inhaling left, switch fingers. Switch fingers, exhaling right. Keep going. Keep the belly engaged, just breathing into the chest. Keep going, see if you can slow it down a little. And the next time you exhale out your right nostril, let that be the last round. Relax your arm, relax your hand, just resting for a moment. And then bringing the right hand up again, tuck in the fingers or place them at the third eye. And now we're going to be inhaling through the right nostril by closing off with the ring finger, the left one. And then switch and put the thumb on the right nostril and exhale out the left. So this time we're inhaling right, exhaling left, circling the breath through, switching fingers every time. Inhaling right, exhaling left. Inhaling right, exhaling left. Ready? Exhale the breath all the way out. Close off the left nostril, inhaling right. Top, switch fingers, exhaling left. Switch fingers, inhaling right. Switch fingers, exhaling left. Keep going at your own pace. See if you can smooth it out and slow it down a little. And the next time you exhale out the left nostril, letting that be your last round. Resting, noticing body, breath, quality of your thoughts. And then one last time, Nadi Shodhana, bringing again the right hand in Vishnu Mudra, tucking the fingers in or placing them at the third eye. Make sure your elbow is comfortable. You can always support it with your right hand. Just support the elbow if you like, but just don't push it into your chest. Keep it soft and gentle. We're going to begin together. This time it's the full yogic breath. So exhale, draw your belly back towards your spine. Release the belly, let the breath start there. Inhaling left. Belly expands and the chest expands as you pull it up. Top of the inhale, switch fingers, exhaling right. Bottom of the exhale, just a slight pause, inhaling right. Belly, then chest. Top of the inhale, you'll switch fingers and exhaling right. That makes one breath. Inhaling left. Belly, then chest. Belly comes in all by itself. Switch fingers, exhaling right. Let your belly go, inhaling. Pull it into the chest, inhaling, right side. Top of the inhale, switch fingers and exhaling. Continuing at your own pace. Now we're only switching fingers at the top of an inhale. Slow it down, smooth it out. Taking the time to complete the round that you're on, which will mean an exhale out the left nostril. Take your time. Noticing the effects of the body, the breath, the mind. Being as still as you can be as we move into our meditation. Finding stillness. Stillness of body, stillness of mind. Without changing it, noticing the breath. No control, just notice it. Coming into the nostrils cooler and leaving warmer. Imagine it going to the back of the throat, down into the lungs. Imagine it coming out of the lungs, through the throat, and out the nostrils. Just noticing the fullness, the shallowness, the evenness, the jaggedness. Just noticing the breath. A thought will come in, and as soon as it does, let it pass by like a cloud and come back to the breath. Just the noticing of the breath. Let the thought go, come back to the breath. If you'd like to tether yourself with a mantra, O on the inhale, on the exhale, completing the sound of Om through a breath. Those are my dogs. They're at the door, barking under the door for someone. Just let it go. Om, Om. Stay with your breath. Stay with Om. Gently letting the mantra go. And beginning to deepen the breath a little bit with a little control. Increasing the size of your exhale. That will increase the size of your inhale. Just a few controlled breaths. You come back into the body, into the mind. As we release the total meditation, bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Taking a survey of the body, of the quality of your breath, of the quality of your thoughts. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Find your intention down in your heart, let it come back into your mind and flower out for a moment. And then drop it back down symbolically into the heart and out of the heart into the palms of the hands, and lift it up and just let it go off into the universe. Bringing the hands gently, softly back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you. Hopefully you are feeling beautifully balanced. Great. Now let me do my magic over here so I can get all of you beauties onto my screen. Great. Okay, I've got you. And I don't think I ever made you be quiet today. Just let me make sure. Didn't mean to. I didn't. You can unmute anytime you're ready to unmute. Okay. Great. So how was that for you? Do you feel more balanced today? I really felt like I needed to bring in balance. And I hope you feel more balanced. Cam said yes. So, Antonia, yes. Sylvia, yes. Wendy, was that good for you? Jana, sweetie, how? Good? Good. Surya Prakash, are you feeling good and balanced? Great. Jean, both Jeans. Great. Anita, nice to have you. Really nice to have you. Okay, and Sylvia, Alfredo, Lori, I see you there, and you're so welcome to be here and hang out. So the practice, let's see. Oh, good. Alfredo, empowered. Yes. Excellent. How was the balance for you? Did you, the big balance poses? Because we did the dancing Shiva, which is really challenging. I know people think initially, both feet on the floor. My glasses are so nasty, I can barely see. Both feet on the floor, you know, just kind of leaning over. How is that not easy? And it's not. You're crossing all kinds of meridians, and you're putting pressure on one side and lifting it on another place. And when you do both sides, after it's all over, said and done, it's very balancing, but it can be quite challenging while you're in one of those sides. Did you all find one side a little bit more challenging than the other?
So I have a question in the balancing pose. Should we be balancing the weight equally on both feet or on the one that's flat on the ground?
Well, because you're leaning to that side, you're going to end up with both really balanced on both sides, because that one's reaching down, but you've leaned over to the side. And so you really have it equally balanced. And that's why it's crossing and making all of those pressures, different pressures at the different meridians and chakras along the spine, right? Like you have that arch to your spine, arching over, the weight on your leg, you know, the weight, and then you're coming up. And it's with, like, I even had some friends of mine who were dancers who said, oh, this is easy. And then I had them look up and they were like, oh no. Oh no. I thought this was going to be easy. And then just holding that gaze, you know. Yeah, so Jean, right, was easier, but still challenging, right? And I think Sylvia said left side was challenging. Yeah. So it can really be, it's a great practice. It's when my hip was really bad for some reason, this was the only practice that I felt like I could do every day, because you solidly pull your hips in when you sink them down. And so for over a year, this was my daily practice. And I got up to 10 minutes on each side. And now I do, like, you know, 10 or 15 breaths and I'm over it, because it's not my only practice either. But that whole practice holds your postural muscles. It holds all of them. So everything has to hug on to the bone, which is why the first time that I ever did it, I was sweating bullets. I mean, I literally had sweat coming off my forehead the first time I ever did it, you know. my muscles were like, what? Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes. Sylvia or Jean? Jean, you go first, or I can't tell who was first.
Sylvia, go ahead.
Sylvia.
Thank you. For me, the pose itself was not super challenging. What was really challenging was the unwinding. So I was like here and I felt so comfortable. And when I went to unwind, it's like, whoa, I was just like ready to stretch. And something just like, whoa, I don't know. Maybe I was just leaning too much or I was not holding. I don't know what it was.
Well, just think about it, because all of the postural muscles are holding like that. And then all of a sudden they're loose. I mean, they're like, you go into this free, somatic motor thing that you're controlling again, but in a completely different way. So it's really good for your brain too. It's totally good for your brain. Yeah. Jean?
My question is about the brain. Why does switching your gaze, that I'm assuming is a brain thing, why does that change your balance? Make it more, well, I'm assuming, well, for me, more challenging when your gaze switches up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everything, your gaze is, when you take your gaze up, it's more challenging for the body. It's just not where our eyes are accustomed to looking. I think they're just not accustomed to going up. And when they go up, they square to corners without you knowing it. If you've got a corner in the room, they're going to square to that corner. And they're not going to understand why you're like that. So it takes you, it kind of short circuits that neuromuscular connection, right? And makes you just hang in there. And Wendy asked, what's your focus point? So the focus point is the back of that hand. That's where you're gazing. You took that arm up,
Right.
and you're looking right there the whole time. So it can be super challenging, just keeping your eyes on the back of the hand and you're leaning, you're pressing, you're over, your palms up. And I made this pose up in the Delhi train station. We all had to do some things that were controlled, because we were, there were 20 of us and we're in the Delhi train station, have nothing. Somebody says, let's do asana practice. So I had to do things that were kind of contained. And so that the goddess or Shiva himself brought that to me. Who knows? Could have been Parvati, his wife. She may have seen him like that, pissed off many times. So wherever it came from, it's certainly not a classical pose, although maybe it is. Who knows? Because it just came into my being. But I've shared it so much that hopefully someday, somewhere, you will see it with someone else and you'll know, I know that pose. Because I've left it wherever I've taught. Yeah. And how was it doing surya bhedana and chandra bhedana today? Like focusing on one circle breath and then focusing on the other circle breath, and then thinking about how different they are than nadi shodhana, yet how balancing nadi shodhana can be after that. Was that good for you? Great, great, great. And like if you're feeling clogged in the morning, and you can just do surya, because usually if you're feeling clogged, your right nostril is a little bit more open, and you can inhale right, exhale left until you get a few things going. But I know I've told you this, but if I'm feeling clogged in the morning, a few rounds of Agni Sardoti, the fire wash, clears my sinuses. And I can do a standing up version of just leaning over and belly to spine, belly to spine, belly to spine, release, pull, release, pull, release, pull. And that will open up my sinuses. And then I feel much better and can do my practice. Yes, Antonia.
Would skull shining have a similar effect?
Skull shining can, but I can't often do it because I'm still too clogged to do that. So if I'm skull shining is perfect. I'm one of the people that usually does the 4 purifications in a different order. I do them all 4, but I do them in a different order. If I'm clogged, I'll do Agni Sardoti, Kapalabhati, Ashwini Mudra, Nadi Shodhana. Because Nadi Shodhana is like my closing thing. Because by then I'm balanced and feeling more balanced and can do it. If I'm really clogged, I do Agni Sardoti Kapalabhati. If I'm not clogged, I do Kapalabhati, Agni Sardoti, Ashwini Mudra. But I usually will do Nadi Shodhana at the last part, especially days like today where it's cloudy and I feel kind of congested. I don't feel any congestion, but I know there is some. I woke up with that in my throat, and and then when my eye just started running, I've never had that happen in class. All of a sudden, it was like something was in my eye and it wasn't going away. Yeah, but I thought those, and how was it for you with me reminding you before meditation that to get everything together that you're going to get together and bring it? Was that helpful so that you didn't think about having a big transition there? Good. I'm going to try to remember to do that. And if I forget it next Tuesday, remind me after class that remember how you were going to tell us about the getting ready for meditation before we do our pranayama so we don't have that big disconnect for that moment. Because I think that'll be helpful for you guys. Yes, Jana.
I have a question. When we were in all four, and then we lift one leg up and extend it out, both sides was so uncomfortable, even almost painful. Like there's just some weakness there. Do you have any suggestions for like strengthening?
It's probably the TFL. It's probably your tensor fascia lata. And yes, the best thing you can do is, and yes, we all need to really work on that muscle for a long time. It's the one that's up in your IT band that helps you pull that leg out to the side, right? So the best, and it's really good for all of us, and it's so balancing for our hips and our femur. And when I had my hip injury, I did this every day, at least twice a day, and sometimes more. So you're just on the floor, and extend all the way out, and then just take your bottom leg and put it at an angle so that it's more supportive. So this leg is out, and notice it's not even. I don't have it going all the way down. This is as far as I'm going. If I go all the way down with the foot on the floor, I've overextended the joint and it pulls on the TFL. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it here engaged. So it's just pressing out, but this leg is bent, so just notice that. And I can put a pillow here. This part of my body is not important. I can put a block. I can just do whatever I want to do here, right? So I'm going to lift, no rotation. Lift, lift, lift. So I'm going to lift for about 10 reps, then bend the knee and rest it. And if I have a pillow, it's even better to rest it with a little space, the same space that you've got in your pubic area, right? Because you want to keep that space even. And then extend out, and then another 10 reps. And don't ever go up, only go just as far as you can with no rotation. You'll feel that muscle starting to engage and grow. And you'll also feel this really tired. And then the next one is, so that leg stays bent. So then that leg is bent. You point the toe and draw it back, as far back as feels comfortable. Flex the foot, kick, kick. Point the toe, draw it back. Flex the foot, kick, kick. Point the toe, draw it back. Flex, kick, kick. And then again, rest. So however many reps of those you feel good about. But both of those really strengthen your TFL. And that gives you so much more hip stability and allows you to, like that's an abductor. That's what helps you abduct without pain, without a lot of tension in that area. Because for some of us, our hip flexors are nice and strong, but we don't have that. If like how was boat pose for you, Jana? Was it easy?
Yeah, boat pose isn't so hard.
Because often the TFLs, you'll see that they're not really engaged in boat pose. Like if you do boat pose and your legs are up and straight, the sides of the legs will start to tremble because of a weak TFL. Mm. So, like when you're in boat and you're up and balancing, like if you're really up, with your leg up and your body up, and you can't hold that, usually you can't hold that because of your TFL. Mm. So if you were doing it the whole time with your knees bent, that's cheating on your TFL. So that's easy for everybody. But if you can't extend the leg out and hold it, that's the TFL. So just work on your TFL. Yeah, those are two really great exercises to do. So you guys can have the whole weekend till next Tuesday to work on those. Again, you Californianites, I really appreciate your getting up and doing a 6 a.m. class. I'm very impressed. Yeah. Okay, well, we're at time and it's wonderful to see you.
Teacher,
Uh-huh.
Kamala, next Thursday up here in El Norte is Thanksgiving. Are you still going to have a class?
I am, because I'm giving thanks for you. Absolutely.
Great.
Uh-huh.
Excellent. I will be here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Every Thanksgiving, I always give a class, no matter where I am. I used to give one back at Ponce Verde. It's, you know, the day is young. I always give a Thanksgiving class. I want to
That's
thank
fine by me.
Thanksgiving for you guys. Absolutely. Uh-huh. Okay. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you, good Lord willing, on Tuesday. All right, everybody. Take care. Ciao.